Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this. The movie opens up when Natasha and Yelena are kids, having fun, playing together, and making pretend. You know what you do when you're kids, just having a great old time. And then, as they're about to sit down for a nice family dinner, their father walks in, all panicky and everything like that, and he tells Melina that they only have a few minutes. So they decide that they're going to leave, and they begin running from the cops and from the government, and finally they hijack a plane and fly off to some unknown location where the Red Guardian, aka Alexi, decides to send them away to be spies in the Red Room. And that's what inevitably happens. And then we're treated to an opening scene which is not very pretty to look at. It shows the kind of horror and torment that Yelena and Natasha had to go through in order to become spies, which is quite disturbing to look at when you see it for the first time. And it just shows that Marvel Studios is not afraid to get into the nitty gritty of some of their characters, which I think is awesome and well done. Now, after being left to wonder why their father, Alexei, would send them willingly to such an awful and dark place, we flash back to just after the events of Captain America and the Civil War, when Black Widow turned on Iron Man to help Captain America and his crew escape, directly going against the Sokovia Accords, and this leaves her on the run, running from the law and going into hiding. And over the course of this opening scene, nothing really of interest happens. It's just kind of some character building for some of the more normal people. Like you have Natasha living in a trailer, hiding from the government, hanging out with some technology dude that's like really cool, and he's like all into electronics and stuff like that. He's a very smart dude, and she can basically use him to get whatever she wants in regards to equipment, which I think is a cool character to have in a movie like this. And then we're also treated to basically Black Widow trying to start over and figure out what she's going to do with her life and all that jazz, and becomes friends with this dude that she's using to get all the stuff that she needs. And shortly after that, we're treated to a scene of Yelena, now being a full-fledged spy, and ruthless as ever, taking down some person with some weird-looking vials, which when the Funko Pops were released, I thought these were like quantum particles, but they're not. They're like some sort of mind control antidote, because all of the spies in the Red Room are all manipulated by this gross, fat, evil guy that's up in the Red Room, controlling all of them from a console. So this woman that Yelena's fighting sprays her with the antidote, releasing her from the mind control, and then after that, Yelena's all sad because she killed the person that freed her from the mind control, and she doesn't know what's going on. So then she goes into hiding as well, like the Black Widow. She finds a shitty apartment and she stays there, and then she reaches out to Natasha, aka the Black Widow, to come and see her. And so then they go and they have a big fight. They almost kill each other, and until Yelena yields, and then they talk to each other about what's happened in the past few years and all that jazz. And then they decide to team up because they get ambushed by a group of widows, and so they team up together to take them down. Yelena does some pretty questionable stuff, but granted, she's been manipulated her entire life, so she doesn't know about the laws and all that jazz. She ends up killing a bunch of people during their fight, and this leads to a funny moment of Natasha being like, "You can't steal cars, you can't kill people. What's wrong with you?" Like those kind of moments, and I think that was done really funny. Florence Pugh definitely stole the show in this. After that exciting chase scene between the cops and the Taskmaster, narrowly evading death from the Taskmaster, they stop at this bar or restaurant, maybe diner. They sit outside, they reminisce about everything that's happened, and they basically catch each other up on everything. And then they come up with a plan to basically kill the guy who's in charge of the Red Room because he uses basically these women, he kidnaps them from a young age, and then he forces them to basically be human biological weapons. And so they're like, we need to go and find this guy in the Red Room, we need to stop him from turning people into weapons because that's not cool. But then Yelena adds that no one knows where the Red Room is. It's always changing location, and the widows are always sedated before they arrive. So no one knows where it is. But they decide to go and find the Red Guardian, aka Alexei, break him out of prison because maybe he'll know something. For those of you who don't know what a gulag is, in simple terms, it's a high security Russian prison. But after a very hilarious scene of the girls breaking Alexei out of the gulag, they then find out that he has no idea or doesn't even remember where the Red Room is, but he does say that their mother, supposedly Melina, knows where the Red Room is because she works so closely with the people over at the Red Room. So they decide to make the journey in their helicopter, and Yelena quickly adds that there's not enough gas to make it to that location, and the Red Guardian says, sure there is, and she's like, okay. And then in the next scene it shows the helicopter falling out of the sky, which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie. So they make it towards the location of Melina, the rest of the way on foot. They have a nice dinner with her, and this is all broken up by Natasha saying, this was all fake, we were never a family, it was all fake to save our own skins. This leads to Yelena getting very upset, considering that to her it was all very real. Natasha was her sister, Alexei was her father, and Melina was her mother. She gets very upset, and in secret, Natasha and Melina created a plan to go and take down the guy at the Red Room. And the interesting thing about the guy in this movie, the villain, is he's treated like a very evil character. Like, he's like, oh, I could start World War III with these Black Widows. Ho ho, I enslave women. Ho ho, I can make these bitches do whatever I want. And then, hilariously, he's easily defeated after all of this stuff is taken away from him, which is really funny. Of course, they end up saving all of these women that have been enslaved by the Red Room, and the day is saved. I really like this movie. I thought it was tons of fun. I liked that David Harbour, Florence Pugh, I liked their characters and the way they portrayed them. It was very unique for a Black Widow story. I thought it was tons of fun. I enjoyed the cinematography, the music, and I thought Florence Pugh stole the show. But anyway, let you know,